Good morning.
Good morning.
Hopefully you're having a day. We've already been handling medical crises and trying to figure out which way is up this morning. So hopefully you've had a more mellow morning.
Relaxing morning. Kids missing the bus.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff around here.
So, broader topic of stress management.
Mm-hmm.
What did you want to talk about today?
I wanted to talk about rest management today.
Big piece of stress management.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sleep deprived, when you're rest deprived, when you're relaxation deprived,
Yeah.
you can't manage stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what does that mean besides drinking coffee? Maybe that's what it means.
It's third caffeinated, so I feel a little bit better about my caffeinated choices instead of getting all amped up on the fully caffeinated stuff. Rest management, that's really hard for me. A lot of times in the evening I'll be cleaning up, doing things. Maybe I have to vacuum because we have dogs in the house, so I vacuum every day. And I see him sitting on the couch, and I get mad about that sometimes. And, I've had the epiphany that why should I be mad at him for actually taking time to relax and rest when the issue is the fact that I can't do it because I have my own thoughts that things need to be a certain way before I can relax. And, even right now, it's right before the holiday season, like many, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I haven't started Christmas shopping yet. Work is really busy. I'm feeling overworked. And, just with that and everything else going on with kids and grandkids in school, I don't take the proper time to rest. So, and you can start to feel it after a while, like.
And there isn't anything you really want. It's not like we want to give something up, right? So in, I don't know, an hour or so, our youngest grandson is going to be dropped off for a couple of hours, a few hours, 4 hours or something, and we're excited about that, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to do that. Mm-hmm. So there's this competing thing of I want to have the house look the way I want it, but I want to sit down and I want to see my grandson. I'm excited about it and I want all these things, but I want to sit down. And mm-hmm. So there's this pull.
Or I want to get to the bottom of my to-do list someday.
Good luck with
but
that.
It never ends. And it's really about having the mental discipline to relax. It seems kind of.
Your headstone is going to read, I almost got it done.
Everyone, yeah. And, it's, you can't always go on, vacation. It's been a year since our last vacation. So it's how do you, talked about it last time, how do you bring those moments into your day-to-day so you can rest in between? You're not always...
Well, and I also think it's important to think about the outward perception of somebody else. Like, you mentioned I'm sitting on the couch. Well, yeah, I'm probably reading about medicine or watching a video about medicine. So, the point is comparison isn't really part of relaxation. It's not really part of mindfulness. And learning to ask. So if you're doing something and it's a communal project and you need something done, it sort of sounds like all I do is sit on the couch and do nothing. But
I was meaning that you actually take time to sit and read and relax a little bit.
I know.
Because you find those things relaxing where and I don't have that discipline to do that.
And I know. And I also beg you sometimes to come just sit down.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is recruiting people around you, right? So most of us are not very good at asking for help. And asking for help is a really important thing. it's in the recovery world, they call it the 10,000-pound phone, right? It's just almost impossible to pick up that 10,000-pound phone to ask for help. But asking for help is really, really important. So there are people who can vacuum, right? There's a lot of chores that you have to do, whoever you are, you have to do because you're the one who knows how to do it. But there's a lot of sort of manual labor that you can recruit people, but you don't. And I'm not talking to you necessarily. I'm talking about us,
And
all
hey,
of us.
I like vacuuming.
Yeah, okay.
It's very satisfactory.
Okay, well then if that's the case, so if you're that person who likes to vacuum, you need to be mindful about, I'm enjoying the fact that it looks better now
I'll
than it
recruit
did
someone
before.
else to wash the pots and pans. Or,
Right, which tends to be my job, although sometimes I go sit down and you're doing it, but I was planning to do it later. So there's timeline issues, right? And there needs to be negotiation around that. And that's sort of the mindfulness piece and coming back to being willing to negotiate those things. And negotiation, that's sort of a dirty word, right? Because that implies this, right? Oh, we're going to negotiate this out. Well, no, negotiation is about collaboration. I heard a really interesting thing. I followed this guy, Chris Voss, and he said, who do you think the best negotiator you know is? And, the guy's blank for a second. He goes, well, think about Oprah Winfrey. You don't think about Oprah Winfrey as being this incredible negotiator, but think about her career. Who's throwing rocks at her? No, nobody. And think about some of the really controversial interviews she's done, like Lance Armstrong. She was able to negotiate with Lance Armstrong, and she didn't ask easy questions, right? She nailed him to the wall and said, listen, dude, you're trying to make this okay, but it's not okay. She made him tell a real story and admit to real things, right? So real negotiation is about collaboration and cooperation and understanding the other person's position. So when it feels hard to get help, because just talking about us, the other day at work, she's completely overwhelmed because we have a busy practice and there's a lot going on. And I said, okay, well, what can I do? And she looked at me and she said, well, nothing. Well,
because it would take me longer to explain.
It would take you some time.
Yeah.
But then you would be freed up, and then I would know how to do it. So, but that's the issue, right? The issue is that goes to the fable of the woodsman and his saw, right? Or his axe, depending on the story. But the young buck is out there and he's sawing down a tree, and he's sawing down a tree, and he's sawing down a tree, and it's just not going anywhere. And the old woodsman happens by and he looks at him and goes, wow, that must be an incredibly hard tree. He goes, not really. Well, what's going on? Well, my saw is dull. Your saw is dull. Well, why don't you sharpen your saw? Well, I don't have time. Right? So, if you don't have time to sharpen your saw, if you don't have time to teach somebody to help you, you're in a pickle. So we have to figure out how to share the burden, or we have to get mindful around the burden we have.
That's what I was thinking this was going to be about. How do you bring
it's both.
Mindful moments into it? Because your to-do list will always be there. Your house will always need something done to it. So, I think it's more about bringing in mindfulness. Like even during this live right now, I've been taking lots of deep breaths and trying to calm down my autonomic nervous system for the day.
Right, but
so
it's
that's
both.
More,
right?
yeah.
It's both. It's managing what you have, and then what you can't manage, you have to get mindful around. What does mindfulness really mean? What does that really mean in terms of what you're saying? I got stuff to do and I have to get mindful around it.
Well, it just means being fully present. So instead of thinking about the list of you know,
58
like
things.
the Christmas shopping, or, you know, maybe you're out of dish tabs and laundry detergent and dish soap. I'm speaking from that's what's
Experience?
going on here this morning. I'm shopping to quick refill these. And I totally lost my train of thought. So
What is
so that's the
mindfulness?
thing. That's the thing. You get caught up in all these things.
Lists.
And you just have to let it go and just take a deep breath. And what am I doing right now? This is what I'm doing. And I'm going to complete this task. And then I'm going to move on to the next task. And what really helps me is lists. Like I keep a list everywhere. There's a list on my iCalendar. There's, you know, for everything I'm doing during the day, I have notes. And I do still keep the pen and paper. I have a special notepad and journal or planner. So I can cross that stuff off because that feels so good.
Panda planner.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves it. And it's sort of, this is where ignorance is bliss, because I don't have lists.
Because I keep all the lists for him.
Yeah, well, there's some truth to that, but it's also true that,
So I have lots of calendars
yeah,
with reminders and alarms.
yep. And I also don't have lists because I have not very many things that I think are as important as she does. So, you know, that's a problem in a relationship sometimes, when one person has this expectation, the other one has, like, you know, that expectation. When you have differences in expectations, and so sometimes the expectations are like this, meaning mine are higher, and sometimes the expectations are like this, and meaning hers are higher. And it's a negotiation to figure out what that's going to mean, right? And then, so because my expectations are lower, I'm blind to certain things, right? So, like, I'm blind to the fact that there's dog hair on the floor and it should be vacuumed. But if I get reminded, I'll do it. I'm happily do it, right? So, but it's this that's happening all the time with different tasks for all relationships, not just couples, but all relationships. And it's a negotiation around that stuff. But what happens, especially when you're stressed, especially around this time of year, my expectation is here, her expectation is here, and I go, well, what the heck? You know, why can't you do your job? But what could have happened, if I was more mindful, what could have happened is, hey, we talked about this before, and let's negotiate this, and oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing that, so I'll do that. And vice versa, right? So there's this negotiation piece, there's this mindfulness piece, but it all, you know, being mindful about the fact that we're negotiating is a big, big piece. So to me, it's yes and. There's a lot of stuff to do. You have to recruit help. You have to negotiate around help. But you also, and you have to negotiate around expectation. And you also have to get mindful about the stuff that you just have to do. Because if you got a 5,000 item list, and you're perseverating on that 5,000 item list, well, nothing's really getting done efficiently. Do you agree?
I was thinking sometimes you just gotta let it go too.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
So, who's Frozen? You gotta freeze it. Let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a popular movie around here right now.
Yeah, we've got
Let It Go.
grandkids, more than one.
He calls it Let It Go. I want to watch Let It Go, Grandma.
Yeah.
So then I let it go, and I watch Let It Go.
Yeah.
So it's just about moments like that. It's, you know, it's the little things. It really is the little things. It's the little moments. It's the deep breaths. It's the pausing. It's the watching Let It Go.
Yeah. Last night, or was it, I don't remember last night or not, but Lincoln was watching a movie, and it's a kid's movie, right? I was kind of like, and I'm on my phone, and Elizabeth said, hey, why don't you put your phone down? My initial response, I don't want to watch this. So I put my phone down. I thought, no, I didn't. I don't want to watch this. But what I do want to be is present with my family. And I put my phone down and was grumpy about it. But then I got into being in the moment, right? And it was enjoyable. The movie, I I've seen it 5,875
It's true.
times, but it was
Home Alone.
enjoyable. Yeah, Home Alone 1. It was enjoyable to be present with the family. So,
And then I didn't have to listen to his video and the movie at the same time because I was like, can you turn that off? I just can't concentrate right now.
because I wasn't
I'm trying to be present and mindful, and I hear this video in my ears. I'm hearing Home Alone.
because I wasn't even
The
present
chaos.
enough to realize I could have put in earbuds and maybe she wouldn't even
I
have
would have
noticed.
cared, actually. I'd have been like, he's doing his thing, but I was like, please turn that off. I can't listen to both.
Yeah. So, so there were a number of solutions to that conflict, right? Could have put in earbuds, but I chose, no, I'm going to put my phone down to be present here and then have the little conversations that happen. Like Lincoln likes to have a little commentary about what's happening in the movie. Even though he's seen it 800 times, he goes, you know.
Oh, can you speak louder? I wonder, you didn't turn this on today.
Oh, can
So-
we speak louder? Well, we can do better than that even.
Yeah.
'Cause I goofed up.
Wrong one. It's on. It's actually on that side.
Okay.
We're
We're almost done talking here, so apparently it's been too soft the whole time. Hopefully that helped. Did that help?
So, one question I wanted to know for anyone that listens now or later, if anybody makes it to the end of the video, especially if there's no noise or no voices, what is one thing that stops you from resting? Like, what is an obstacle that
Right.
you face?
Thank you for pointing out the audio.
Thanks, Wendy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The other thing, it's early, right? So it's hard maybe, and it's sort of right at that transition time where people are getting ready and trying to go out to work and whatever else. But
It's the transition between getting kids to school for us and then the grandkid coming, so.
yeah. But what we'd like is hopefully grow an audience and have more conversation, like Wendy saying, "Hey, I can't hear you." Thank you for that.
Not me
no,
to-
no issues with sound.
That was no stress, Wendy. Don't worry about it. It did not add to any stress.
Oh, well, thanks, Carol. And you heard fine.
That's
Okay, well,
all right.
good. So, whatever. We got a better mic, and I forgot to turn it on. So,
That's okay.
yeah, it's okay. Well, I appreciate you telling us that. Any questions? Anybody want to talk about anything? Otherwise, we're trying to keep these short. We've been on about 16, 17 minutes. We're going to end it unless there's some additional interesting conversation. All right. Well, the barking dogs and the pending grandchildren and apparently the dog hair on the floor are all beckoning. So.
Yeah, because guess what? I did not vacuum last night.
Yeah. There you go. Alrighty. Well, coming into the holiday season, I hope you think about mindfulness. I hope you think about this negotiation idea as a collaboration. If you haven't read it, Chris Voss is a ex-FBI hostage negotiator. He has a book out entitled Negotiate as If Your Life Depends on It. And it's really about how he talks about empathy and understanding the other person and collaboration. So it's a beautiful book. How are you keeping the stress of 5 dogs down? Oh, well.
There's 2 that stay outdoors.
Yeah.
Most time they're big Newfoundlands. They love the cold weather. When it's below 0, they're laying on the cold cement in the shade.
Yeah, they have a lot of options, but they lay
They have
belly
a nice
down on the
warm
cement.
house, but nope, they like the cold.
Yeah.
And then the indoor dogs is just kind of like zone defense, I guess.
Yeah. And, most of the time, the dogs are stress relief. Occasionally, they're not, but most of the time they are.
When they jump on my couch and they're not supposed to.
Yeah, see, that's the issue, and so I spend. It's good for me physically because I spend a lot of time sitting on the floor with the dogs on my lap. So, it's one more deep knee bend that I have to do during the day. So, if you're a dog person, it's like dogs are not stressful. I guess if you're maybe one dog is not stressed, 2 dogs is a little stress, 3 dogs is some stress, and 5 dogs is what the hell is wrong with you, right? And so we're deep into the what the hell is wrong with you space. And so what the hell is wrong with us is, what the hell is us, yeah. So what's wrong with us? Well, I guess we like to be crawled on by furry animals. And there's one at the door right now, whining
under that little crack.
I can see his nose trying to come under the door.
He's like, hey, I can hear you talking in there. You're having fun without me. Yeah. Dogs lower my stress. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. They really do. They really do. I agree. Most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Once in a while.
Except for when they eat your homework.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And have a great holiday. Are we on next Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you next Friday. And start with the questions sooner, right away. And let's talk about what you guys want to talk about.
Yeah.
And we'll take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good night, or good day, I guess. It's been so stressful, it already feels like the day is over.
Oh, my neck hurts.
All righty, bye. Except for I can't push the button.
Mm-hmm.